Hi guys, my name is Ahmad Fauzi Hamdi. This is my final exam assignment for pre-intermediate grammar. Now I'm gonna talk about quantifier. What is quantifier? A quantifier is a word that usually goes before a noun to express the quantity of the object. For the example, a little milk. Most quantifiers are followed by a noun, though it is also possible to use them without the noun when it is clear what we are referring to. Now, quantities. There are quantifiers to describe large quantities, a lot, much, many. Small quantities, a little, a bit, a few. And undefined quantities, some, any. There are also quantifiers that express the idea of the sufficient amount, enough, plenty. There are some quantifiers that have a similar meaning but differ because one is used with countable nouns and the other is used with uncountable nouns. Countable nouns are things that we can count. For example, a table, two chairs. Uncountable nouns are things that we cannot count and only have a singular form. For example, some furniture, some fruit. Much, many, a lot of. We use many, much, a lot of to refer to big quantities. We use many with countable nouns and much with uncountable nouns. And we can use a lot of with both countable and uncountable nouns. In modern English, it is very common to use a lot of in affirmative sentences instead of many and much. For the example, many plus countables, many pens. A lot of plus countables, a lot of pens. Much plus uncountables, much money. A lot of plus uncountables, a lot of money. Here are some examples of much, many, a lot of. There are many things to do today. We have a lot of time left, don't worry. Many people take the train to work. Much Italian wine is sold abroad. She plays a lot of sport. When we want to emphasize a really big quantity, we can add so in front of many and much. For example, there were so many passengers on the train, it was difficult to get off. She had so much work to do. She stayed at the office until midnight. A few, a little, a bit of. To talk about small quantities, we can use a few and a little. We use a few with countable nouns and a little with uncountable nouns. It's also possible to use a bit with uncountable nouns, but it is more informal. For example, a few plus countables, a few students, a little plus uncountables, a little water, a bit of salt. And here are some examples, a few, a little, a bit of. We need a few coins for the car park. Would you like a little milk in your coffee? They ate a few biscuits with their tea. The engine needs a little oil. When we want to refer to a small quantity with a negative sense, we use few and little without a. Examples: few trains arrive on time. A small number of trains arrive on time, which is a bad thing. Little attention is given to the problem of parking. A small amount of attention is given to this problem, and it is not good. Some, any. When we want to refer to a plural noun or an uncountable noun without giving a specific quantity, we use some and any. We use some in affirmative and any in question and negative. The example for positive: there is some milk. Negative: there isn't any milk. Introductive: is there any milk? Positive: there are some chips. Negative: there aren't any chips. Introductive: are there any chips? Here are some more examples of some and any. We have some free time later this afternoon. She doesn't want any coffee. Do they need any bread? I went to some meetings in Rome last week. Will there be any managers at the party? Exception. As is common in English, there is an exception to this rule. When we make requests and offers, we usually use some instead of any. For example, can I have some water please? Would you like some chocolates? Enough, plenty of. The words enough and plenty express the idea of being a sufficient quantity. Both words can go with countable and uncountable nouns. We use plenty of to mean there is more than a sufficient quantity of something. For example, I need more plates. No, we don't. There are plenty. Slow down. We've got plenty of time to get to the station. We use enough to express the idea of having or not having a sufficient quantity. For example, I think we have enough vegetables, so I won't buy any more. But we don't have enough fruit. Let's get some more. Questions about quantity. When we want to ask the quantity of something, we use how many or how much. Example, how many plus countables. How many forks are there? How much plus uncountables? How much orange juice is there? Here are some other examples of questions about quantity. How many times have you visited Rome? How many people were at the meeting? How many chairs do we need? How much time have you got? How much bread does he eat? How much petrol shall I buy? We also use how much when we ask the cost of something. For example, how much do these melons cost? How much does this coffee cost? How much are those gloves? That's all. Thank you for your attention.